All right, let's move to the interview segment. And today we have not one, not two, but three actors in the movie industry. We have with us Precious Emmanuel and Oluwase Akinshola, who are actually via Zoom. Okay, well, Emmanuel is here, right? Precious Emmanuel is via Zoom. Oluwase is in the studio. That's what we are saying right now. And Nnamdi Agbo is also via Zoom. Both are actors in the newly released Netflix movie, Hijack 93.
Thank you for
Now, I am sure many will not recognize you because... So, the stage name, his character's name is Iku.
Yes.
Yes, Iku. So, the beards is just...
You're right.
Yeah, okay. So, Emmanuel, how you doing? Okay, Emmanuel and Nnamdi are joining us via Zoom. Emmanuel and Nnamdi, how you doing? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Good. How you doing?
Can you hear me? I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So this is Emmanuel, right?
Yes, yes.
What about Nnamdi? He's there as well.
Yes, I am.
Oh, good, good, good. How's everything?
Everything is doing well.
All right. So, Nnamdi, you were the lead cast, the lead actor in this movie, Hijack 93. It talks about the happenings the things that happened in 1993 and the hijack of the airplane moving from Lagos to Abuja. Tell us about when you had to go and interview one of the hijackers then, and you had to play his character. How was it for you?
I would like to say it was very interesting. You know, actually being sitting in front of somebody who, one way or the other, has etched his name in Nigeria's history. You know, young people who were able to fight for social change during their own time in a military-backed government. It was really, really interesting to hear their own side of the story, to tell us what actually influenced their decisions. I wanted to hear of their courage and their guts. Like, they were so gutsy. It was like reliving an action story, an action theme story. Like, you're reliving it, and it was something, I tell you.
All right, let's go to Precious Emmanuel, also known as Owiwi. So what got to your head that you had to shoot that beautiful lady?
I love how speechless he is at the moment.
I don't know the point I'm to answer this question, if I'm going to answer as an actor or as a character. But we had like a mental and emotional imbalance, right? So from like his childhood, his father would traumatize him. There was a lot of backstory, right, that we didn't get to see that wasn't explored when at the final cut. But like, we went through a lot of traumatic experiences, you know, and that sort of influenced his action. So you could see that in the plane, he was very erratic, and he wanted the mission to not fail at all costs. Like, he would rather die, he'd rather burn himself and burn the entire plane than have the mission fail. So he was in a very emotionally and mentally, you know, imbalanced place. I think that would justify that action.
Okay, so we have Iku with us here.
So you know what Iku means in Yoruba.
Yes,
so
we know
let's
what it means. No, I'm just saying the name of the character.
Yes,
yes.
We have Shay in the studio with us. Thank you. I'm a very Yoruba girl. Thank you very much.
Right.
But I mean, why do you think the producers chose this particular story? Because there are so many Nigerian-related historical happenings. We have, I mean, from the past, from history and everything. For example, Nnamdi Azikiwe and Shehu Shagari and co. So why do you think the producers chose this particular topic?
Thank you. One thing that we should note is that I think from the little things I know about Titles of Play, the producer, executive producer, and Mr. Rogers Ofime, these guys are very, very intentional about telling Nigerian story to the global world. They are very intentional about picking things that actually matter. Because when I got to know about the project, Hijack 93, I heard of it from Mr. Rogers of Fimi, and I was like, this story about 4 boys, this is a very important story that most people don't even know about. Because we know about 9/11, we know about different happenings in the world, but we don't know about this.
Many people don't know about it.
They don't even know about
it. That kind of situation happened.
Yes, and then the fact that it happened years ago, and 4 boys, young boys, could pull something like that off in Nigeria. So they were like, let us tell this story. And they've been on it, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, and now we've told this story.
I mean, myself being a Gen Z, I was definitely shocked when I heard that. I mean, we had a Nigerian aircraft that was hijacked. Well, it was before I was born anyway.
Yeah, give yourself out, though.
Yes, I know. But, I mean, how was it for you working on this movie? How was it working in the plane with your fellow cast and crew on the story, and you actually writing your own name in history in a particular way?
It was amazing. I can't deny the fact that, the set environment was beautiful in one way. At the same time, it was ethic in another. Beautiful in the sense that I was with amazing co-actors, from the 4 boys to the hostesses to
John Domelo.
People were so professional. It got so crazy to the extent that sometimes we would be in character to the extent that we won't eat all through till the end of the day, because everybody's just delivering their part. And then ethic in the sense that we shot in an actual airplane for over 30 days. Yes. So, the heat, and we shot in Kano. Kano is a very hot state, yeah. So the weather is crazy there. So we're shooting in the plane for over 30 days, every single day.
So you didn't go to Niger? now we know. Now we know. Okay, so I read that Effa and John Domelo had to go to flight school for about 3 months to learn how to actually fly a plane. So it means a plane was flown.
I don't know about their process, but I'm very sure that they had to go through a process to know how to handle
the controls,
the cockpit, the buttons, everything, to know, it's make-believe, so they actually needed to do it.
Yeah. All right, so let me talk to Nnamdi at this point. You were the leader of the whole Hijack crew. How was it that in that kind of film you had to deliver on this role? How was it on set? How was it delivering your lines and everything, and knowing that this is a movie that many will want to watch to understand what happened in 1993?
So for me, first of all, it's something for me to talk about. This is a story that most people in Nigeria do not even know existed, or do not even know exists. And for me, it was a historic moment for me to actually put out something that people do not know about. While preparing for the character, I actually was even talking to my director. I had a conversation with him, telling him that I didn't want to just put out a man whom, in quotes, the world sees as a terrorist of some sort. We decided to get diverse means in which we could portray these people as human beings. And that's how we came about it. But at the same time, it was also interesting. It's also interesting to note that because this story is a historical piece, we're not going to play anybody that is terrible, or we're not going to play anybody that is a good person. We're just going to show the human side of this person and ensure that we tell the story as close to history as possible. Because we know that we cannot be historically accurate in something like that. For me, it was very, very fascinating. It was very, very intriguing. It was very, very beautiful to be a part of something like that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that answer. I want to move to Emmanuel now. So I know that Emmanuel was the character that had a lot of, like you already said, a lot of emotional and mental baggage. So I want to ask, what was the most challenging part of the character for you, and also of just being in the whole movie? What was the most challenging part for you?
Okay, I'm not a very physical person. I'm not a physical person. I'm not strong on physicality, and the character had to jump around a lot. I love to play characters where or like whenever I do like my acting preps and like my acting practices and stuff, I always go for characters that are still, like performances that are still. So you can just be still and still be showing emotion. But this character required me to jump, shout, do this, scream, lose my mind, at the same time still be like emotionally vulnerable and still show a lot of physicality. I think the physicality was the toughest part of it for me because I'm not really a very physical person. So I think that was like the most challenging part of it. But like for the emotional part, it was not really a hassle because I'm used to playing vulnerable roles, roles that allow me to like shed emotions. So that's like my strong part. But like on physicality, that was the challenge.
Look at how Iman is looking fine with beard. In the film, you're looking very, very young, like someone who's
I couldn't recognize myself.
So you had to shave. And what was the process to get to that look for you?
Okay, so when I got to set, right, and because we had like a 4-day prep before like the production, so I got a 4-day prep, then a 1-month break, and then the production, right? So when I went for the 4-day prep, and the director was like, I have to go cut my hair. I'm like, for the prep? He's like, yeah, I have to go cut my hair. I cut my hair, my beard gave, like, I live on, my hair gives me a lot of validation. My hair, like, my facial hair, my head hair and everything. And I had to, like, I had, like, really long hair. Like, my hair, like, it's, like, so long. Like, if I draw it down like this, and then they had to cut it to give the whole funk and everything. And I was like, "Wow, God, is this me?" But then, after that was done, I looked in the mirror and I couldn't see me anymore. I saw Omi. I saw the character, and I was like, "Yeah, we're good to go."
All right, Shay, looking at your own character, it actually resonated because, I remember 1990 in Kano State, where there was a riot, and I was still very young at the time, and so it really resonated because the girl that played your daughter had to die because of the imbroglio that happened there and then, and it was quite an emotional part for me. So in all of this now, do you think as Nollywood we are trying or doing well in shooting such kinds of feature films?
Okay, first, we need to acknowledge the fact that we've grown.
Definitely.
Because we've grown as an industry, and we've moved from that part of, let us just tell the story, to actually focusing on the production, on actors' performance, on set designs, costuming, and all other things. So back to your question, I believe that we've moved. We've grown to that point. You know, telling stories that are actually talking about it, and like we all know, this is a real life story. This actually happened. So telling stories that are vulnerable, that people can actually connect to, is something that I believe the Nigerian industry, the movie industry, has been working on, and they've been doing it well.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. But Nnamdi, I'll come straight to you. What legacy do you think this movie is going to leave for generations, present and future generations?
So first thing you need to understand, this film is actually going to spark a conversation. It's going to spark and it's going to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians that do not know much about their history. I always say that one thing we lack in Nigeria, or one thing we lack as people, is identity. For a country to move forward, you need to understand your past. You need to understand where you are currently, and that will help advance your future. So I believe that this film is actually going to spark the consciousness, or going to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians to actually go back and dig into their history to understand where they are coming from. And one thing that's very interesting about it is that when the trailer came out, I think this was the biggest view that Netflix got this year, 8.8 million, and it sparked the conversation. Who didn't know about it were like, oh wow.
Yes.
I mean, I know somebody who was 42 years old, who is 42 years old, and he was asking, there was something like this. And I was like, if you are 42, and you don't know anything about like it, what is going to happen? It was really something for me to now say, yes. That means we're able to reawaken this person and to actually tell him something that he didn't know about. So I believe that this film is going to spark something for Nigerians and Nigerian filmmakers as people start telling our stories, start digging up things about our country and show it to the world. Yeah.
So I think we'll still keep that same question for Emmanuel. I was about to call him Owiwi, but Emmanuel, I would like you to react to the same question that my colleague asked Nnamdi. Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Did you hear the question, or should I say it again? I was asking that what legacy do you think this movie is going to leave for future generations? Looks like I
think it's not there, but let's go to Oluwaseyi. What legacy will this movie build or keep for the next generation to come?
Like Nandi said, one thing we need to understand is that we need to learn from the past so that we can move forward. And this film is history class, but not going to school. Do you understand? Because in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, people will go back to this movie and they would be like, okay, so this actually happened. So people actually stood up to the government to tell them their demands, that this is what we want. And this is not just because of us, we are willing to die for the country. And that spirit of revolution, that we want a better country. You know, I don't want us to, actually bring it back to this day, but at the same time, a lot of people, we can actually talk about NSAS. People are tired of a particular situation. So this film, we always tell that fact, we always tell that story, that there was once a time that people stood up. Four young boys stood up, got on a plane, hijacked the plane, told the world that this is what is happening in Nigeria, and these are our demands. We want it to be met. And even though they were apprehended, they were captured, that helped in getting democracy for Nigeria. And that will always be in history.
Thank you very much. Of course, this has shown that we have a lot of stories to tell in Nollywood, and so we are harnessing the stories for future generations. And one part that, excuse me, that was funny and key for me was that I remember at the under the tree, the round table, where some people were drinking and hearing the news of the hijack, and the other guy told the old man that you come to get sense from the round table that we are in. And it was trying to tell him that he doesn't have sense when he was talking about the fact that young boys are doing well, and the other one was saying, no, they are stubborn, they are very, But it's all good. And of course, thank you so much for bringing this story to light. Thank you for being a champion for telling young people these kinds of stories. Young people, you know what I'm talking about.
You close.
All right, so thank you so much for watching. Nnamdi, thank you very much for coming via Zoom.
Thank you.
Emmanuel, thank you so much as well for talking to us this morning.
All right.
All right, that's it.